Yep, I was totally muted. Um, that's fine. um, but hey, everybody, I hope that you had an excellent week last week. I know that we missed, had some real life stuff just sort of blow up. So I was pretty much MIA from everything and everywhere. There was not a lot of time to do anything except take care of real life stuff. So I appreciate everybody's patience. Much love. Thank you to everybody. I know that notifications didn't go out. I definitely had a boomer issue with this when I was setting it up. So hey to everybody that was able to make it. Tonight I will also be in 44 minutes. Actually, I will be over on Miss Martin Muse's channel, over on Teresa's channel, and she and Stig Kenobi and myself will be talking Wheel of Time. I think that's going to go for about an hour and a half, probably tops. And then I've got so much to talk about with that, but that is for a different stream and a different time, because we are here in the now and we are going to talk about one of the greatest Christmas movies ever produced. And I do not care what anybody says. Die Hard is 1000% a Christmas movie. It's almost impossible to say otherwise. I mean, you've got all these different genres. So if you think back, I know it's been 2 weeks, but we went over, 25, or the last one that I did was 25 different Christmas movies that you can watch during the season. And they weren't in any particular order. There was no obviously requirement to watch any of them. It was just to let you guys know that there's different genres of Christmas movies out there. Action Christmas movies are a thing, just like horror Christmas movies are a thing, but they're not my thing. So I didn't cover any horror Christmas movies, but they do exist. I know that Krampus is some people's absolute favorites. And it's just, there's a difference between something being set at Christmas time. You're like, oh, it's December or it's at Christmas time, and it still isn't a Christmas movie necessarily, but if it's not a theme. But they keep, one of my favorite lines in any movie actually is, now I have a machine gun, ho ho ho, and the way he goes about it. So there's all of these Christmas elements. He's going to a Christmas party at his wife's work. That's why they are all there, so that they can be taken hostage by these psycho thieves / terrorists. So it's just a holly jolly good time. And can I just say how much, like, we don't get villains like this anymore. Oh, like, it's just not a thing. I wish we did. You know what I mean? Like, and his name, Hans Gruber, like, he sounds like such a bad guy. And I don't understand what this fascination with, I don't know, like, sympathetic villains is. Like, there are legitimately evil people in this world, and that is okay. It's part of life. It's part of balance, and you need to be able to recognize that those things are evil. Okay, yes, this is also true. Hey, Laura Egger, yes, we don't get actors like Alan Rickman anymore. This is 1000% true. I don't know that we are ever going to get anybody close to Alan Rickman ever again. I think James Woods is probably as close as we're ever going to get to Rick, because he's like his own, they're both their own brands of incredible. But Rickman had a specific style and Woods has a specific style. But if we have to talk like on a linear basis, I think Woods is as close to Rickman that we are ever going to get again. But, oh God, it's just it's such a good movie. Also, the impracticality in here, you can literally, like this right here where he's swinging from the fireman's hose into the building. You know what? Suspension of disbelief. This man has survived so much crap. Like, I absolutely believe he could swing from the top of a building on a fireman hose and crash through a window and not die. Um, so yeah, like absolutely. This movie just it loves to push the bounds, and that is that's one of my favorite things about it because it goes just to where it's still believable. You don't have to completely suspend disbelief because he is a cop, so he does have training. He's obviously going to be proficient with firearms. He's obviously going to pay attention to detail, especially like he's a New York cop from the 80s. Like you best believe they had to keep their heads on a swivel or they did. Like I was not in New York in the 80s, but people like It's a Gundam, Hi Papa Gundam, have told stories about how absolutely freaking insane 80s New York is. And when people tell me that current New York is worse, like that's some terrifying stuff to hear. But yeah, this is just this film it takes, you know, he's not in like Arnie shape, but he's also not dad bod. You know what I mean? So he's a cop. He wants to protect his family. He's a relatively good man who is extremely flawed, but he's a good guy. He's going to do what he has to do to keep his family, to keep his wife safe. And, you know, that just happened to include, I don't know, like if it had just been a bunch of people he didn't know in that office, well, one, he wouldn't have been there to begin with. I don't know if he would have stayed and fought as hard as he did. I would think probably not because you're going to fight for people you love harder than perfect strangers in general. That is definitely not always the case. But you know, and his name is just like John McClane. It's just this movie is so it's perfectly cast. The pacing is phenomenal. The plot makes sense. Um, it's just it's so frick. I like his internal dialogue right here. I love like he's so hilarious, and you can completely feel what he's feeling. Like he is in this tiny little ventilation shaft and he's like, "Oh, let's get together, have a few laughs, have a Merry Christmas. It'll be a great time." You know, like he is clearly hating his like that would totally be me. I do that now where I'm out there and I have to do some crap that I don't want to do. And I'm like, "Oh, come over, we'll hang out. It'll be a great time. We'll get to see each other." Yeah. You know, and then I'll come over and see my parents and my dad will have a list of chores for me. I'll be like, okay, because I'm not going to argue with you because you're my dad. Same thing with my mom. My mom will be like, hey, can you do this? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I gotcha. I love you. It's all good. No worries. You know, but like, and you get over it. You do it. It's fun. It's a good memory to look back and laugh at. And, you know, this movie has there's just so much the internal dialogue and the actual dialogue and the characters interactions with each other are completely believable. They're very grounded. I have never laughed so hard as when Hans switched from his German accent to his cowboy one. I was like, what is this? um and like I was like, "Oh my god, is that what he like, is that what people actually think, like, Texans sound like? Is that what like, is that really how they think we sound?" Like, it was just so funny. And, you know, of course, McLean is sitting there testing him, and he catches it, and Hans thinks he's outsmarted him, and then it's like, "Oh, McLean did not give you a loaded gun." Like, it's just fantastic. And there is nothing about this movie, honestly, that I would change. The soundtrack, the pacing, the characters, the casting, the writing, it's so tight and it's so well like they clearly knew they had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they knew how to thread them together. Take notes, modern Hollywood. It's just it's such a great time. I have never watched this movie with anybody and have them not have a good time. And it it's just so it's a tradition, like, it's a holiday tradition, it's a Christmas tradition. You watch it, you have a good time, and then, of course, you go back to, like, Charlie Brown Christmas or, some other there's other traditional Christmas movies that everybody wants to watch, and that's totally fine. But this one always makes my list, um, because there's it makes the evening it makes the evening fun, and, like, everybody can get into it, and those of us that have seen it before, like, we're quoting it, and we're, like, giving each other a hard time. We'll be sitting on the couch, and we'll be like, "Oh," like, uh, be like, "I have a machine gun," and then we'll, like, pretend to shoot each other. Like, it's just a blast. Um, and I think Alan Rickman as Hans is probably my favorite part of the, like, I mean, Bruce Willis definitely just, like, brings his A game and owns it. And all the bad guys are just so stereotypical bad guys of the 80s, and I love it. And then you've got Bruce Willis as John McClane. John McClane's just, like, mowing them down, and just out of sheer tenacity and will, too. Like, this is not a guy who went through Black Ops training. This is not a guy who is, a commando. This is a guy who is a cop trying to do the right thing and make sure that his loved ones make it home for Christmas. And now he's dealing with bureaucratic idiots from the FBI, bureaucratic cops. I think one of the most used gifts to this day is him standing over the window, and he's like, "Welcome to the party, pal." Like, this is there. It's just a blasty blast. It's so much fun, and I I love being able to just kick back and chill. And for an action movie, the writing is actually pretty smart. It is actually really intelligent, because nobody is doing something that nobody is doing something that would be, like, out of character for them, or is so completely unbelievable that it takes you out of the movie. Where you've got Stallone and Schwarzenegger, who are doing these absolutely insane feats. You've got John McClane, really, like, I think this hold on. Yeah, Wolverine, here you are. By any action movie standard, everything John McClane did got him hurt or was sold as just barely made it. Very grounded by the standard. Absolutely, especially for an 80s action movie, this sucker is, like, you can really get into it and 100% believe that McClane is going through all of the trash and, the self-coaching and dealing dealing with the internal monologue, trying to figure out, like, trying to patch things up with his wife, just wants to see his kids, doesn't want to go to this stupid party, has a real big problem with her skeevy coworker. Like, I hate the skeevy coworker, and I know I'm supposed to. But, like, I'm actually kind of happy he dies. Like, I don't know how else to say it other than I'm happy he's dead. I'm very happy he's dead. So yeah, it's I love it so much. And let me see. What is it? Ellis is the most satisfying death in the entire movie. Yeah, like, I would have to agree with that. But real quick, so I do have a couple of things over on the donation side, so thank you, everybody. I'll nail those really quick because we're only going for about another 16 minutes or so. Sorry, I bumped my mic. Hello. There we go. Yeah, so I'm only going for 15 more minutes because I have to hop over. Yes, and yes, mini Gravemaster alert. We were invaded for just the briefest of moments, but we're good. So Raj Williams, thank you, Raj, for 783. Say Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Merry Christmas, all smiley face. Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Eric K for $5 says Alan Rickman was a genius. Rest in peace. Yes, he was. We will never, ever see someone like that ever again. Like I said, I think James Woods is probably the only one that's, like, maybe close to, like, is parallel to him, because they're definitely a different category of actors with their own skill set. but um I think he's really the only one that could even parallel Rickman would be James Woods. I think someone said earlier that Michael Keane, was it Michael Keane? Who I don't remember. I'm sorry. I forget who it was. So there might be like one or two others out there, but their caliber is just, you do not find it often anymore. So it's sad to say and it's sad to see, but it's oh yeah, Michael Caine. Okay, thanks Shane Nolan. Yeah, Caine. Okay, so yeah, Michael Caine. LaRocker. Okay, yeah, so that was you. Yeah, so like I said, there's very few actors of that type of caliber. And I wish we could see it again because I would kill for a villain like Hans Gruber again, with like an actor like Alan Rickman again. Freaking instead of a view to a kill, like kill to get a villain. Because for real, like honestly, we have not had a villain that hasn't been undermined by either the producer, the director, the writer, or the actor, or a combination of those four in such a long time. Like we just had Michael B. Jordan come out and say Killmonger was just misunderstood. He wasn't actually a villain. Like, my guy. All those bumps on his body are not those were not for just the heck of it. You know what I mean? So like we need good villains. Like I want good villains. I'm sick of anti-heroes and I'm sick of gray heroes. Like give me a white knight and give me a freaking I don't even like a freaking Satan himself, I guess. Like Legend? Oh man, Darkness, you knew he was evil. You know what I mean? Give me a villain. I beg thee. My kingdom for a villain and a hero. A real one. Not this ridiculousness. I miss give me more Lethal Weapon. Give me more Die Hard. But thank you, Eric K, for the $5. I hope you got a lot out of that donation, and I appreciate it. Bastard for $5. Thank you, Bastard. Says, Merry Christmas, great lady. Oh, Merry Christmas, great bastard. Bastard the Great. I don't know how to phrase that without it making sound like you're just like really good at being a bastard. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Like I said, we need villains, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just And then Cal G for $2. Oh, this just came in. Thank you, Cal G, for $2. Says, I had no idea that Carl Winslow himself, Reginald Vell Johnson, was Al Powell in this film till much later in life. He was great in this, especially his backstory. I was freaking moved when he told John why he refused to fire his weapon again. Great moment. Yes! Yes! That's what I'm saying. This whole film is just cast perfectly, written incredibly. You buy into the backstories. You care about the characters. This repertoire has been built. This isn't this like 2-minute introduction and like, oh, you're supposed to care about this character and now we're going to kill them and you should be sad because we said so. Like, no, give me a reason. Let me invest in this character so that when the stakes are high and then they have to be paid, I actually care. Like this movie, I cared about the stakes. I cared if they had to be paid. I wanted John to just beat the ever-loving piss out of everybody, which he mostly did, and I loved it. And I love the story about how Alan Rickman's face as he's falling from the tower, that's actually his true reaction because the director wanted it to be as genuine as possible. And so they were like, we're going to let go on 3, and they let go on 1, or vice versa. And so, like, the shock and the terror and everything on his face, that's all genuine. Like, he was really terrified in them. I would be too. Like, even if they got to 3, I'd be genuinely scared. But yeah, they were able to get that more genuine reaction out of him. And it just made the scene, it made the movie, but it made that scene really just hit. You know what I mean? Even the terrorists who didn't have any lines still had some character development. Yes! Absolutely, Harley. Your characters do not have to have dialogue. Silent film was a thing for a really long time, folks. So your characters don't necessarily have to have dialogue to develop. You simply have to write them well, especially if they're going to be a nonverbal character. That is all the more reason for you to nail their characterization and their story and their arc and who they are. Whether they're extras, heroes, villains, sidekicks, entourage, whatever it might be, write the characters like you care about them and their interaction in the universe that you're creating, and it will pay off. In the age of reboots, sequels, all that legend money just sitting on the table. Otherwise, don't give them any ideas. No. Bad. We do not need a new legend. It's perfect the way that it is. So, yeah, I'm just this movie is so, like, I don't know that it has any business being as intelligent of a film as it actually is, because it is essentially a heist movie. It's a heist movie that happens at Christmas. It's a Christmas heist movie. And, like, you've got they're cracking into the vault. They're stealing the codes. They've shot the boss man. Like, they're bad dudes. They're there to steal. They are terrorists. And it really is just, it's a heist movie, but it's done so well, and it's with such a fresh approach. And it makes me curious why people don't try to just do the thing well. Like, oh, well, it's been done before. Okay, but can you do it well? Can you do it better? Because, everybody's like, oh, action movies in an urban setting, they've been done before. They've, like, who's this Bruce Willis? He's got nothing on Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Weather. You throw out all the heavy hitters from the 80s. And they're like, he's not buff. He's not jacked. He's not this superhuman action star. Like, and, it's a heist film and it's been done before. And yeah, if you look at it, every element in this movie has been done before. The overconfident, cocky, asshole FBI agents. The captain of the police who was reluctant to listen at first, who is now, like, deep in the shit. Excuse my language. You've got a buddy cop thing going on between the two of them. You've got terrorists who are trying to hijack funds and plans, and you've got hostages. You have a one-man army. You've got all of these things, and they have all been done before, but they were just done better, like, exceptionally well in this film. And that is something that people don't give it, like, oh, well, we have to subvert expectations. We have to throw in a twist. We have to throw everybody off their game. No, you can deliver a film with everything that everybody's like, it can go exactly the way people are expecting, with hero and villain fit. Villain starts the plot moving, whatever the plot deal is, whether that be robbing a bank or stealing plans or trying to take over a planet. And then enter hero, who is fighting for truth, justice, the American way, his family, the funds in the bank because he's just an honorable guy and that's how he does it. Whatever his motivation is. And you can present them and they can have interactions and there can be stakes and they can, there can be a girl involved, and it can be guy meets girl, guy falls in love with girl gets kidnapped, guy rescues girl, and they ride off into the sunset together. You can literally do all of that, but you can bring your own vision to it, but have it exactly how people expect it to go, and still have a phenomenal film that is fresh, that is new, that is exciting, and that is something that people are going to want to see again and again and again. So this whole idea that you have to do everything different for the sake of being different is misguided at the best, and disingenuous and harmful to your future in directing or producing or anything, really, like, as we're seeing currently with stuff crumbling. So my recommendation is, like, if you ever ask me, should I watch Die Hard? I don't care what time of the year it is. Yes, you should watch Die Hard. 1000%, because it's so good. It's so funny. It's action packed. You'll have a great time, and you can't help but smile. Like, you really cannot help but smile. And it just, oh man, like, I wanted to marry John McClane when I was younger. I was like, yes, give me a man like that. Give me a man who will literally give everything and anything for the people that he loves, for his family. But that these stories are they're iconic and they're timeless for a reason. And so if anybody asks me, is it worth my time? Yes, it is. And it is very much worth your time. This movie is going to, like, it will help pull you out of whatever slump you are in. I promise. And if it doesn't, go watch Die Hard 2. That'll do the trick too. Like, I honestly, I love Die Hard 2 as well. Also a Christmas movie. And quite frankly, Die Hard 3, I don't think it's that bad. I like that one too. So, if it is Die Hard in the title. Did you guys see the battery commercial? I was a fan of the battery commercial, like, for real. In the last week, we should watch the battery commercial. That's what we should do, because it was the best thing Hollywood has put out in a long ass time. And that's sad, but also funny. Because it's true. I don't know what else to say other than that's facts, Jack. So let's see. I've got it right here. Hold on. And like, I remember when this commercial hit, I got so excited. I was like, yes! Oh my God, yes! And then no, it did not, it was not what I thought. It was still great. And like I said, the best thing that Hollywood has put out in eons. So, that's fair. But here we go. All right, ready? I don't know who has seen this and who hasn't, but it's fantastic.
Well, you wanted the quiet life, John. Dead batteries, empty streets. Video?
Oh my God, isn't this great? See, Christmas tunes, we're coming Christmas tunes. Go through that last one.
Welcome to Advanced Auto Parts.
I need one of those. Is there another way out? You kidding me?
This
Did
is
you know
so
we
great.
have free installation?
Yeah, I got it.
Internal monologuing here.
Argon?
Argon?
You still driving this thing?
Oh my God.
Seats, man.
You can still drive. You got it.
Oh man, I just paid this up. Argon, you alright? We're getting out of here, buddy. Just gotta change my batteries.
Just gotta change my battery. Look at this. And then BAM!
Night, night, pal. Argon, get up.
Come on, you can't not love this. Look at this. Get out of here.
Hey, that's my line.
Bruce Willis is back in action as Officer John McClane. He returned to his Die Hard role recently.
So, yes, as John, but in a very different way. So, yes, that was the Die Hard commercial for the battery, and I loved it. And I think, I don't know how many, let me see, how many views. So, the official Die Hard commercial, I think, had like almost 1 million views or something like that, and then like spread across the different channels, It was, I think it got well over like 3 or 4 million views. But yeah, I'm gonna have to share that to my Twitter again, because that was like the best commercial I have ever seen in my life. And again, best thing Hollywood's put out in years. And it's just so much, it was so much fun to watch. And like, if you've not seen, I hope that commercial brightened your day. See what I mean? Like, there's still good stuff out there. But yeah, like, I don't know. I love it. There is nothing about Die Hard that I do not love. And it's such a good. What do you mean? Ryan Lynn, what Die Hard 3 has Sam Jackson as a saving grace. Listen here. It's Hans's brother. They go through, like, they're in New York City. It's freaking fantastic. I don't think Sam Jackson is definitely a plus, but I don't think he's the saving grace. I think that movie is great. Die Hard 2 is your favorite of the entire series. Hey, Andre, I get you. I got it. I hear you. I completely understand. Soul Assassin, you want to go to AutoZone? I think that's the point of the commercial. Like, they want people to come to their store. Who'd have thunk? They wanted to pull you in. Like, that whole entire commercial, like, I just want to go into AutoZone and be like, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I know that you personally probably had nothing to do with that commercial, but I loved it. And that's why I'm here right now, buying your batteries that I don't need. But it's a great time. I am 2 minutes over. In 13 minutes, I will be over on Ms. Martin Muse's channel, and we will be talking Wheel of Time. Now, Stieg is our resident expert because he has read all 14 books several times. I have only made it through book 5, and I've started rereading 1, 2, and 3 because of the Wheel of Time series, which don't waste your time on. But like I said, nostalgia streams are strictly for stuff we love. If you want to hear me rant and rave like a crazy person, I suggest you head over to Miss Martin's channel. I am dropping the link into the chat right now for that. Yep, I promise. It's getting there. And I think it starts at 7:15. So yeah, we're coming up on like 12 minutes. But yeah, if you guys want to hear about that, talk about that and all that jazz, I'll be over there with Stieg and Miss Martin, and we're gonna light some fires. I have a feeling. What fifth one? I don't know what you're talking about, CT 2005. What fifth one? But I really appreciate everybody stopping by. I'm trying to make these nostalgia streams between 30 minutes to an hour from now on, because I think 90 minutes is kind of long for everybody. And it's a Thursday night. People are, it's right before Friday. People kind of want to just kick back and relax. If you want me to go back to doing longer ones, I definitely can. And there will be, there'll be a show next Thursday, and there will be a show. So we'll go back to streaming once a week. Again, last week I just had so much stuff blew up that there was no real way to get to streaming, and I didn't want to. Even if I could, it wouldn't have been fair to you guys. I wouldn't have been able to deliver for you. So thank you so much. Merry Christmas. I will see you next Thursday if you don't go over to Miss Martin Muse's channel, which you should. And I will see you at the next nostalgia stream or over on Miss Martin's channel. So thank you so much, and much love to you all. Merry